This video is for e-collar trained dogs that are still struggling winding in place despite your best efforts, and you're doing all the training and the calming exercises and thresholds and calm when you pick up the leash. You're trying to be a leader, but your dog is still winding in place, even staring at you, even when you're just sitting down. They have a hyper attachment to you or to people in general due to genetics or honestly spoiling and pushing boundaries constantly. This video is going to show you step by step how to help your dog learn how to self-soothe. Okay, so this video is for two things. One is the relaxed down or the double down. Now, we don't do this with every dog. We like to let the training calm the dog down over time and they relax naturally without it being forced. That's what I prefer. But so many of the dogs we see, high anxiety, some separation anxiety, some anxiety associated with just people in general, excitement anxiety, and they cannot relax. The double down or the relax down is not something we are correcting for, making the dog do in a way that's like recall. Like if you don't come, you get in trouble. It's not like that. It is different. Doing the relax down with your dog in a calm environment only to pattern the head down behavior over and over and over again. When it's just you in a room, maybe your spouse, not even with your kids running around, till it gets easy, can make more of a behavioral down, which is a natural head down that happens just naturally. It can help teach your dog to do that because you're encouraging self-soothing, because the body will follow the brain. Now, not if it's too hard of a situation, not if you're asking too much, if you're trying to do it in the backyard and the dog is like looking for squirrels or birds. That's not what I'm talking about. This is in a calm environment already. And then eventually you could try it outside with more distractions, but you don't have to. Just practicing this in the house with no distractions, low distractions, and medium distractions will help your dog naturally start to self-soothe in other situations that are more stressful, okay? So that's first. Second is we get dogs all the time in that really struggle just having people in the same room with them and doing a downstate or place duration. They're whining, they're staring at us, they're waiting for their next command or pet or engagement, and they can't hardly handle it. Sure, just correct the dog. Yeah, well, a lot of times that actually creates more engagement. Sure, they'll be quiet, but they're still staring at you, waiting for you to say something else to them because you just said no to them, right? Or the other argument is, well, you just need to put the training in. You need to calm them down in other transitional situations, like leashing them up at the crate threshold, front door thresholds, not encouraging excitement whenever they see you, like making sure you calm them down and say no if they're too excited when they see you. I understand all of that, and you should be doing all of that. And we do as trainers, but we still, even after a week or 2 or 3 weeks, the dog will really still struggle in place duration or a downstay, watching us at a distance, even just sitting down, stare at us. This specific dog, Rufus, he stared at me as much as an hour one night, and all I was doing is sitting on the couch. If I told him no, in any way, I tried body language pressure, leash pressure, and e-collar. All it did was create him to be like, what is that? What do you want me to do? And stare at me more. Now, it stopped the whining, so that was great, but he's still so focused on me, he can't relax. This part of this is genetics, and then part of it has been nurtured. So, and that's pretty common. It's pretty common. You have a dog that's genetically, just doing that, just very, very handler focused or human focused. And then also what's been rewarded as a general state of mind, excitement associated with people or pets, or just constant engagement, even through obedience. We see that with puppies that can't relax. So anyway, it could be for a number of reasons, but if you're in your home and you walk around and your dog is whining constantly, staring at you constantly, try this video from a sitting down position to start. To be able to do it when you're moving is much more difficult. So start with this video. It's e-collar based, just to be very, very clear. And that's important because this, in my opinion, this type of training is best done with e-collar at a distance but your dog has to already be conditioned to it. So I know there's a lot of like things you have to do here, in my opinion, in order to even be able to do this video. But that's how we train. That's how I like it. The dog already has all this context before you layer this in. First, I'm gonna make sure he understands the double down, which he does, but I'm trying to get it on video. So I'm at a 3. Oh, are you gonna do it on your own? Good boy. Normally I wouldn't even say good, because you don't want any engagement with the dog, but I actually need him to lift his head up. But anyway, it gets really confusing for dogs. So I like to tap and hold and then put my body down and point down to the ground. And they'll kind of be like, what do I do? Scroll up a little, maybe do a slow scroll up. Has to be super slow, because they'll turn into it, be like, what do I do with this? So then the body language helps them. They have to problem solve. They have to figure it out. That's part of the calming down aspect of it, because the more a dog figures out on their own, so down. Look at him, see him trying to keep his head down. Just we've been working on it. So now I'm gonna do a slow scroll up, because I want to eventually not have to squat down every time. So 3, 4, 5, down. There we go. So see that moment of why is stem happening? I went from a 4 to a 10. But then he looked at me, saw that I was down, and he put his head down, then I'm off the button. If I feel like I'm too hot, which happens all the time, because they're trying to problem solve. If I feel like it is too hot, I'll go off the button and scroll back down, try to do a verbal, and do it again. I never correct, ever. Well, I never say never either. But from what I can remember, good boy. I never correct for not doing a double down, because that's not the purpose of a double down. It's not like teaching obedience. It's about trying to teach self-soothing. So it's all low, continuous work. If I have to scroll up and tap the button for some reason, it's because their state of mind is crappy. So I don't look at it as I'm correcting for not doing the double down. I'm correcting because their state of mind is overblown, like an anxious dog. Or if I had another dog in here. Scrolling up. So I went off the button. So you saw that hop he did, I went off the button. Because once you get to a point where they're kicking, I call it kicking, they're kicking at the level, you're too high for them to calm down, if that makes sense. So I went off the button. And sometimes that's what it takes for them to pay attention to the low levels. So it's not that like you did something bad necessarily. It's just you want to go off the button. They're not going to problem solve their head down if it's a little hot. Good boy, buddy. All right, so now he's doing really good. Normally this is fine, but we've had him learn how to turn and move away, look away, because he'll whine at us. He'll put his head down in the beginning. He doesn't anymore. He whine at us for a long, long time. So when we get a dog that's calm, sort of calm, acting calm in place and staring at us, but whining, it's the same thing. So it's harder for them to figure out. And I haven't done it with him in a few days because I haven't needed to. So we'll see how he does. So I'm going to start at a 4. I give no information at all. Because even if I say no, it's engagement. And they'll think they need to look at me. I'm trying to get them to look away. Okay. So I'm trying to get them to turn towards the box. So 4. Off the button. See how that kind of works? It doesn't go that smoothly from the beginning, I'll be honest. He's done this, so.
So after they learn the double down or the relax down, you can use leash to help them understand how to move away. Make sure the e-collar box is on the side on the opposite side of you. So you are doing a slow scroll up. 3, 4, 5, 6. Very slow. As you bend over and give leash pressure out and away from you. That's critical, that the e-collar and the leash pressure is on the opposite side of you, and it's in the direction of where you want your dog to turn. And so I'm doing some calm walking around. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, off the button. I would never do any huge distractions for this. I'm trying to help the dog understand how to ignore me and be calm. So I'm walking around calmly. And I did make a little noise, just curious if he popped up so I could reset him for you. But I would never walk a dog out and try to proof this or anything. It's not the point of this exercise. But I just wanted to show after a week to 10 days of working on this, a dog that was staring at me, whining, or just staring at me for a really long period of time can learn to face away.
It's a little different.
Now, once they understand what you're asking,
Rufus, come here.
then you can,
buddy.
do it the way that you saw before.
I know.
His snorting is hilarious.
I know. Out. Out. Here we go. 4. Scrolling up, off the button. You're so dramatic. So I went from a 4 to a 13, back down to a 4. I give him a second. Can you give me 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
I also try not to look at them directly. I'll look at the edge of the bed. Instead, I don't want to make eye contact with them when I'm trying to teach them not to give me eye contact, So it's just a super passive thing. But I'm not quick on the dial. I want to give them 30 seconds or so between each one because they're figuring something out on their own with zero guidance, which is why you also don't do this until they're e-collar conditioned to some extent. All right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, off the button. So that's all I will do the first night or whatever it is working on this. That's all I'll do. They just till they move into the box. If they're struggling or if they seem stressed by it, which some do. But then the next night, I'll continue to do it till they get up. Because they're trying to problem solve. How do I turn this off? You get up and you face away from me. That's how you turn it off. My point is I do it slowly. It's not like I'm making dogs do all of this right away. Usually, unless they're crazy clear-headed. 4, 8. So I'm still on. I need more commitment. Off the button. Normally, that first hip shift he did, normally I would have went off the button there. But I was trying to see if he'd do a little bit more because he's done this like for a week straight, except for the last few nights because he's done so good. Back down to a 3. Rufus, come here. You didn't turn around though. All you did was back up. Oh, good boy. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Out. 4. Scroll up. Come on, bud. There we go. Off the button. That was a nice one. That was a good one. But this was really hard for him to... Aw, good job, buddy. This was really hard for him to learn. Because he's so human-oriented. Well, when he wants to be. But he's so excitable. Mm-hmm. He's like, e-collar means you want more of me. Like, what? What are you saying? What? So it's really hard for him to understand that e-collar also sometimes means settle down and disengage. Now, I could just scroll up and say no, but and we did try that for the whining. Absolutely, we tried that. And he would stop whining for a while. He would stare at us for an hour. So even though it was helping with the whining, it wasn't helping him disengage and calm down. So this technique, any dog that has separation anxiety or is needy or has creepy focus, even if you're sitting here not doing anything, once they've kind of settled into a groove and the training, all the training we do during the day doesn't seem, oh, he's sleeping now, doesn't seem to be helping them in place duration, be relaxed in place duration, we do this.